The committee will come to order. Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare a recess of the committee at any time. The full committee hearing is convening to hear the testimony of Michael Cohen, former attorney to President Donald Trump.
Mr. Chairman, I have a point of order.
You'll state your point of order.
Rule 9F of the committee rules say that any testimony from your witness needs to be here 24 hours in advance. The committee, the chairman knows well that at 10:08 we received the written testimony, and then we received evidence this morning at 7:54. Now, if this was just an oversight, Mr. Chairman, I could look beyond it. But it was an intentional effort by this witness and his advisors to once again show his disdain for this body. And with that, I move that we postpone this hearing.
I want to thank the gentleman. Let me say this, that we got the testimony late last night. We did. And we got it to you all pretty much the same time that we got it. I want to move forward with this hearing.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, this is a violation of the rule, and if it was not intentional, I would not have a problem. I'm not saying it was intentional on your part. I'm saying it's intentional on his part, because Mr. Dean, last night on a cable news network, actually made it all very evident. John Dean, and I'll quote, Mr. Chairman, he said, as a former committee counsel in the House Judiciary Committee and then a long-term witness, sitting alone at the table is important. Quote, holding your statement as long as you can so the other side can't chew it up is important as well, close quote. And so it was advice that our witness got for this particular body. And Mr. Chairman, when you were in the minority, you wouldn't have stood for it. And I can tell you that we should not stand for it as a body.
Let me say this.
Chairman?
Let me say this.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Katie Hill,
I move to table.
Mr. Chairman?
is there a second?
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman, I was asking to be recognized before the motion.
The vote is so in tabling the motion.
You know who had this
To
material
postpone.
before all the
Excuse
members
me,
of the committee?
excuse me.
CNN had it before
Sir.
we did. CNN had the exhibits
Sir.
before we did. Well, I just wanted to be recognized.
Yeah, well, the vote is on tabling the motion to postpone. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it.
And I appeal the ruling of the chair. Yes, I can assure you it's in the rules. I appeal the ruling of the chair.
Do the rules matter, Mr. Chairman?
I
Move to
recognize
table.
the gentlelady.
Move to waive the rules.
There's a motion to
Move
table.
to table.
Chairman.
The vote is, the vote, the
Move
vote,
She
to
made
table.
two motions. What's the motion?
the vote is on tabling.
I move to table the appeal to the ruling of the chair.
The vote is on that. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it.
I ask for a recorded vote, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Cummings.
Yes.
Mr. Cummings votes yes. Ms. Maloney. Ms. Maloney votes yes.
House Oversight Committee is taking a vote. You'll hear Democrats voting yes, Republicans voting no. Mark Meadows has jumped in right away here as the hearing just gets started, saying that Republicans didn't get the opening statement with enough time. But then we heard Katie Hill, who's a freshman Democrat, say she wants to table this appeal that Mark Meadows has made. So that's why when you hear a Democrat vote yes, what they're voting for is to table it, keep the hearing going, and move forward. Since Democrats have the majority, they should be able to do this easily, but this just shows the process drawing out as we get a sense of how Republicans are going to enter this hearing. Let's go back and listen to more of the roll call vote here.
Ms. Spear. Ms. Spear votes yes. Ms. Kelly. Ms. Kelly votes yes. Mr. DeSaulnier. Mr. Desaulnier votes yes. Ms. Lawrence? Ms. Lawrence votes yes. Ms. Plaskett? Ms. Plaskett votes yes. Mr. Khanna? Mr. Khanna votes yes. Mr. Gomez? Mr. Gomez votes yes. Ms. Acacia-Cortez? Ms. Acacia-Cortez votes yes. Ms. Presley? Ms. Presley votes yes. Ms. Tlaib? Ms. Tlaib votes yes. Mr. Jordan? Mr. Jordan votes no. Mr. Amash? Mr. Amash votes no. Mr. Gosar? Mr. Gosar votes no. Ms. Fox? Ms. Fox votes no. Mr. Massey? Mr. Massey votes no. Mr. Meadows?
No.
Mr. Meadows votes no. Mr. Heiss?
No.
Mr. Heiss votes no. Mr. Grothman?
No.
Mr. Grothman votes no. Mr. Comer?
No.
Mr. Comer votes no. Mr. Cloud? Mr. Cloud votes no. Mr. Gibbs? Mr. Gibbs votes no. Mr. Higgins? Mr. Norman? Mr. Norman votes no. Mr. Roy? Mr. Roy votes no. Ms. Miller? Ms. Miller votes no. Mr. Green? Mr. Green votes no. Mr. Armstrong? Mr. Armstrong votes no. Mr. Stubbe? Mr. Stubbe votes no. On this vote, we have 24 yeses, 17 noes.